partial eclipses that I was talking about, Dwayne. Like this, you have to block the solar surface to be able to see the solar atmosphere, the outside. But you're going to see something like this today, and you saw it. But you're going to see it better because nature does it better than we can actually do it artificially. Right now, there's not too much going on in the sun. However, if I do a historic event, which actually was from this past July, you can see a coronal mass ejection. Big explosion of particles that come from the sun.
Intense. See, we have to worry about that. That doesn't look good.
Space weather, what can actually indications. We have the magnetic field of the Earth to actually protect us. It's our shield. And what we do is we actually can analyze that using real-time models like the one that you're seeing on the screen, that we actually understand how the magnetic field of the Earth changes with those coronal mass ejections. But space weather can affect communications, satellite instruments, and power grids.
Okay, so we're going to toss to Idaho, and I got some good stuff here.
Absolutely here, Dwayne Brown. In fact, looking through the glass, we have a crescent sun instead of a crescent moon. This is the, I think we haven't had a total eclipse here in Idaho Falls since 1889, 128 years ago. And things have certainly changed in Idaho Falls since then. There's a whole lot more people, especially with all the visitors in town. We're just outside the Museum of Idaho, and we have partnered with the museum to make this an official viewing site for Idaho. And they right now have an exhibit on space, but we also sent in a... And for the past 3 days, we've had talks, we've had demonstrations, we've shown them visualizations such as eyes on the solar system, and we've shown them artwork. But really, the order of the day is the eclipse, and NASA has that covered too. They have sent an army of volunteers. We call them solar system ambassadors. They are all along the path of totality, and they're volunteers. These are people just telling people what they're seeing and helping them understand. We have one here, right here. His name is Richard Stember. Hey, Richard. He has been manning in this mobile observatory. And that is what is providing our soul now. Now, we asked him, what's it like being a solar system ambassador? And he said, follow along. We did, and we went with him to a place, a school in Southern California. Take a look. That video, but it talks about the solar system ambassadors. There are about 720 in the United States. They get special training from NASA. They learn all about the missions and about the science, and they basically go out to public events all over the country teaching them about NASA missions. If you would be interested becoming, you can. We have a website. Look it up. Solar System Ambassadors. It is on September 1. September 1 through the end of the month, you can sign up to be a Solar System Ambassador. So check it out on the web, Solar System Ambassador. With me now is all planetary missions and asteroids. guy knows his stuff. Let's talk about this. Now, you see this eclipse that doesn't happen. It happens once in a lifetime.
Wow.
But is that you see it as an opportunity?
Absolutely. I mean, we're getting the eerie feeling now, but when we launch balloons, and there'll be 57 balloons along the path.
We have video of this. Now, just a few days ago, they did a test launch for us, and they sent up all works. You have actual scientific experiments going up.
We do. We have a bacillus. It's a harmless bacteria. We have on 30 balloons 2 coupons where the bacteria will be sprayed. One will stay on the ground. One will be affixed to the balloon. It then will go up to 100. So the ultraviolet light, also blocked a little bit by the moon, is just like Mars. Temperature and pressure will be just like Mars. Retrieve that coupon off the balloon, match it with the one on the ground, and then we'll see how many survive.
Now, why is that information so critical for Mars research?
Well, this bacteria is pretty much everywhere. It's very hardy, and it probably is made its way to Mars, perhaps even on our rovers. And I would like to know if that environment is so harsh that it would eliminate
fish. I have never seen a total eclipse. And I'm sorry, I would love to talk to all of you people, but I want to put on my glasses too and take a look. Can we continue this conversation?
I have to do this too.
All right, and watch, and we can talk. All right.
Well, you know, the plane is tilted by 5 degrees, and so there's only 2 places where the moon and the Earth and Sun are on that same line. And that's why every 18 months or so we get an eclipse. It's already so
Oh, wow, it just got dark all around us. And you can...
Oh, yeah. The winds are really picking up. You know, this dark area, the winds are just flowing in.
Oh, you can... It's just a ton.
Structure. You can't get, there's Venus.
Oh, wow.
There's Venus. Oh, look at that ray structure.
You were saying this is the only way you can see the atmosphere.
Yeah, that lower part of the corona is really even hard from space to see. Spend a second looking around at the crowd.
We should turn off the lights. guess, Jim? The streetlights.
Of course. Who would have thought? We didn't plan that one.
All right, again. Get ready with your glasses.
Okay. There it goes. There's the diamond ring. There's the diamond.
Oh my gosh. That is so...
All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's brilliant.
All right. Wow.
Okay, glasses back on.
Super easy. Super easy.
We're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon, Jim. That was incredible.
Way too brief.
Yeah.
Way too
We got a minute 50 seconds.
Yeah.
That was all we had. Why is it that some parts of the country get a little more than we do?
Well, it has to do with the curvature of the Earth also. And so the shadow is at various altitudes. You can go up at a higher altitude.
Real treat. This was fantastic. So Idaho Falls has had its total eclipse. The next one is coming in 20 be here, but we hope NASA will. Back to you.
Hello, that's Gay Hill from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Gay, I'm jealous. I'm telling you, I'm jealous. So Alex, explain again
Of sunlight, when you see it at the very beginning, is when the last bit of the sun, the crescent, shrinks down to a little tiny bit, and at the same time you can see a ring of the corona around it, so that makes the ring, and then that bright bit of crescent gives you the same thing. The last bit of corona is a ring, the flash of the sun is the diamond, giving you the diamond ring. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight.
and real quick, and then I'm going to ask you a question because there was something going on here in Charleston. The planetary, Jim Green said something about Venus science because you can see other planets. Right?
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, one of our missions through the WB-57 aircraft are studying Mercury, which is very, very close to the sun.
We're gonna come back to you, and we're gonna talk about what's happening here. So the next up, NASA is ready to take a bite out of the Big Apple, one of my favorite cities, Johnny, New York City. Broadcast is being shown, I believe, in Times Square on the Toshiba Vision screen, so the city can also enjoy the spectacular views of today's total eclipse. And we've had a great relationship with Toshiba, so shout out to you guys. This Midtown Manhattan tourist location is always bustling with crowds. On the average day, over 300,000 people pass through Times Square. Alex, I'm going to turn to you. New York history and solar eclipse.
They really do. So actually 92 years ago, on a cold January morning, New York City, Manhattan, and Queens experienced edge of the path of totality went from 95th Street to 97th Street. This was an amazing opportunity. This was the first time we sent the U.S. Naval Service for scientists to study this. At the time, we actually thought the eclipses could be creating radio waves, which mess with is creating this disturbance. So studying the eclipse is actually telling us about the sun, which is creating these disturbances here on Earth.
Okay. So this just in. I believe we have results from an experiment that occurred on NASA's Gulfstream 3 aircraft from NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center. Karen Rohr, stand by with Thomas Abukan, the Research Administrator for the NASA Science Mission Director. Let's go now to see what the instrument observed during the total solar eclipse. Kevin.
And we're back here at the chief up over the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Oregon. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Outstanding.
For me, like, you know, I 25 years I did research on the corona. I saw it for the first time. It was my first eclipse. Was it your first eclipse?
My first eclipse as well.
I want to talk about two things. First of all, the shape of the corona. You know, I saw the models, I showed the model, and it was remarkably similar. You know, I saw these streamers, these magnetic structures coming out like glows in specific directions, just like we expected. So I'll look for the analysis before we claim victory, of course. But the other one is that spectrograph you, Mike, you know, ran on board. And just before that, the sun